We're joined by another great, awesome candidate running for office out of the state of Ohio, Marcus Madison. He's running for Ohio State Senator in the 13th District. He's already a city council member, and he's been a city council member since 2009. But now he's running to represent the 13th District in the state capitol. Marcus, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I got to tell you, I think as so goes Ohio, so goes the rest of the country. That is a saying that's known all across the contiguous United States, and everybody's really going to be focused on Ohio coming up this election night because of Nina Turner and some of the race at the top of the ticket. But I got to tell you, we here at the Fowler Show are concerned about your race because I really think it's about time having millennials having their voice heard in the political process. But Marcus, why are you running? That is the big question of the night.
You know, I'm running, simply moved out of passion. Here in the state of Ohio, regular Ohioans, they're having their voices completely taken out of the political process by special interests and corporations that just want to keep things the same. And I think we can do so much better here in the state of Ohio to make sure everyone has an opportunity to have a voice and a vote in the way that we move forward with growing this district and growing this state.
And what's the number one problem? So I'm sure you're knocking on doors, you're talking to voters, you're talking to constituents that you already have. What's the number one problem happening right there in Ohio?
You know, here in the state of Ohio, we've seen tremendous cuts to our schools, local education, cuts to our local communities. Over $40 million have been cut to the 13th district alone, which is in Lorain County. And I can tell you, being on city council, I have seen firsthand how these cuts have impacted our local communities. We can't keep firefighters and police officers on the street to keep our city safe. And people are concerned about that. They're concerned about basic services and if local governments are going to be able to keep up and provide those services. So we're working really hard to let people know they have an option in this race and that they can vote and feel confident and know that we're going to stand up and fight for them.
And I got to tell you, Marcus, I think that's the narrative from the Republican Party that the American people really want to reject. All you've heard is cut, slash, decrease. And while that's happening, you know, working families all across this country are saying, we can't afford any more cuts. We can't afford any more decreases. We can't afford any more slashes. And so I got to tell you, I really think that, you know, you're onto something here. I really think we have to change the conversation, change the narrative.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have to start saying if we're going to grow this district, we're going to have to grow it together. We're going to have to make some good investments in education, good investments in our communities, and really say not only are we going to make these good investments, we're going to stand up and protect your right to vote so that you can be a part of this political process.
Yeah, and you know, I got to tell you, I think that's another thing. I think you have these cuts, and on top of the cuts, you know, the cuts sort of layered with this ideal that they want to do everything in their power to stop people from having their voices heard. So we're talking about, you know, the working mother, the father works in the steel plant or the coal mill, like taking away their rights to have their voices heard. And I think it's something that's just I got to tell you, it's beyond crazy to me, but I can't imagine what it is for you on the ground there, knowing that you, beyond just telling people to come out to vote, you have to give them 3 pages of instructions to do it.
Yeah, and we definitely try to tell people, don't be discouraged. Your vote is your voice, and you have to be very loud and clear that we have to stand on the side of working families here in this district.
Now, also, I want to talk to you about this. So I know that, and I don't know, and I've been to Ohio twice, 3 times in the past couple months doing some campaign work for different races. And I got to tell you, I think there's a sense on the ground in Ohio, especially from the African American community, that they're sort of sick and tired of being sick and tired. I know the Ohio Student Association, they've occupied a police department down there. How is that really sort of affecting the campaign for you?
Yeah, so for us, I mean, we have a lot of people here that, yes, that is impacting getting the people out to vote, but we're telling them if you're not a part of this process, then your voices are going to continue to be shut out. So when people understand that, they understand what's at stake this election. We can't afford any more cuts. We can't afford to continue to go through the same process. We can't afford to continue to be sick and tired of the same thing. We got to get involved. We got to get out there and do things, and that's what our campaign's all about. We're trying to bring in new people to the political process. Being a young candidate, we're able to really work to inspire other young people to really get involved and be a part of this process, as well as some of our traditional voters to get out there and be a part of this.
And I'm glad you brought that up. What is the distinction between the younger, in your opinion, the distinction between the younger voters and your quote unquote traditional voters?
Yeah, so what I find out is that young people, they want to be a part of this process, but they want people to look at them and say, you matter, and that we value your input. They just don't want to get out there and put up yard signs. They want to be at the table. They want to be at the rallies. They want to be a part of the conversation and say, how do we win this? How do we work together? And how do we build something for the future? We're not running just for this election cycle, but we're running for a cause that's much greater than ourselves. And so what we've seen is a lot of young people are getting excited. They're being a part of this process, and they want to be a part of it because they understand that this campaign isn't about me, but the work that we can do to move the ball forward across the board.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Democrats only need four House seats, Senate seats to flip for them to get rid of the supermajority that currently exists for the current governor. How you think? Are you guys going to do it?
Yeah, we have a lot of momentum going into the last couple of days of this campaign. We're working hard. We have a lot of volunteers on the ground, and we know that this is critical. A supermajority in the state house means that quite frankly, we don't have a voice in some of the decisions that come up when it comes to voting rights or cuts to our schools or cuts to local communities. So we're working hard. We have the support of our entire state caucus and the ODP working behind us. And so we're giving it all that we have, and we're fighting back to let people know they have an option in this election cycle and not to sit this race out.
Now, what distinguishes you from your opponent, Marcus?
Yeah, so I ran for office when I was 21. I took office when I was 22. So one, there's a big difference in age here as it relates to the work that we're trying to accomplish in the district. But I'm running on the Democratic ticket. I believe that we should be investing in our future, not cutting and making harmful cuts that's going to push us backwards. My opponent, he has some bad votes when it comes to making sure people have a voice and a seat at the table. I'm standing up and fighting for that. And so it's very clear. I think people understand that I'm in this race simply to fight for them and fight for regular Ohioans. And when you look at my opponent, she's supported by a lot of outside corporations and groups that want to keep things the same. I'm supported by regular Ohioans and regular people that want to be a part of this process.
I love that, and I think that's just so powerful because it's such a big distinction between, corporations and Wall Street and regular folks who are looking for real answers to real everyday kitchen table issues. Now, how can folks find out more about your campaign? How can folks here at the Fowler Show help be part of, Fowler Nation for that matter, help be part of your movement to sort of change Ohio?
Oh, well, thank you for asking me that. Our Fowler members can be a part of our campaign by visiting the website, which is marcusmadison.com. They can find out a lot of information about myself and why I'm in this race. Or they can visit me on Facebook, which is, you can look me up under Marcus Madison. We're there, and people can be connected and really see all the great work that we're trying to do to win this seat.
Well, Marcus, we hope that you win it, and we got your back here at the Fowler Show. And remember, sir, we'll do everything in our power to make sure that you win. And next time in Ohio, I've got to look you up. I'm there quite a bit, but I got to tell you, we hope that you win. Please, anything we could do to help, please let us know. Thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate you.